things are more easygoing, and the impetus is not that strong. It's not such a strong threat from the demons that one feels the impetus to surrender fully in despair to Krishna as in Kali Yuga. So therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of Krishna in Kali Yuga, which is giving the highest form of devotion to Krishna. How is this going in? Anapita Chiramchat Karunaya Vertinaklo Samakait Muna Tujirasa Udvala Rasam Bhakti Shriyam Hari Purita Sundara. Actually, there is another verse which is saying more about the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave up the opulence of Lakshmi, even, of the association of Lakshmi. As we heard yesterday, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was giving up his married life in his 20s, and his wife was just 16 years old, and he gave it up. And then he says, following the curse of Brahmana, Aryavarchasa. Now I'm going to the point I wanted to mention. He got cursed by Brahmana, Aryavarchasa, Pakat Aranyam, and then he went to the forest, or in other words, he gave up his material life and became a sannyasi. To go to the forest in the Vedic context, it either means to become a vanaprastha, or it can also mean just to give up all one's material possessions and become a traveling mendicant, a sannyasi. So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became after being cursed by the Brahmana. So this is all in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in other words, it was an impetus for increasing devotional service to Krishna to become cursed by a demon who was not happy with one's actions. So in the same way, even we take to this devotional service in an honest and frank way. We may still be cursed by the demons, but we should never take that as an impetus, but rather as an impediment, but rather as an impetus for our advancement in devotional service. So like that, Balraj, he surrendered fully. He lost all his material opulence. But what was the result of Balraj's being cursed by losing all his opulence and being totally taken over by Vamana? Because he was offering the first step of land, Vamadevi was taking over the whole material universe. Second step, with the first step he was taking over Balraj's kingdom. The second step he was taking over also the rest of the space and all the planets and everything. And at the third step then it was nowhere else to put than on Balraj's head, which Balraj is immediately offered. So that's why also Balraj is representing the ninth limb of the 9 limbs of devotional service. What is the ninth limb of? Yeah.
Offering everything to God?
Yeah. Offering everything to God. What is the term for that? It is
Atma Nivedana.
Atma
Nivedana.
Nivedana. Nivedana. Atma Nivedana, thank you. Yeah. So Balraj is representing the Atma Nivedana stage, offering everything to Krishna. That's why we always remember Balraj as one of the 12 Mahajanas. Mahajana Yena Gataha Sapanta. You should follow the path of Mahajanas. So this is the process shown to be without duplicity. Why is simplicity the opposite of being a deceiving or cheating person? Another way we can look at this is to see. You think why is to be simple better than being, or why is it the opposite of being a cheating, deceptive person? We may immediately think that the opposite of simplicity would be to be complex and complicated. And in one sense we can understand it also, because what is the reason? Why should we make things complex, really? Usually we see in the material world that people who make things very complex, actually they are actually, very often they're just trying to hide actually behind the complexity. Like for example, take a very learned person in material society. He's just talking so many nice things and so on. And they are true, but the things we are here is talking about, but he's not talking about meaning of life, to surrender to Krishna and these things. It's like he's just covering his life with all these complex terminology and complex things, and he's just fully occupied with that. And in one sense we can view this complexity as smoke screen. You know the term smoke screen? Yeah? So it means to put a lot of things up, which is actually covering the real facts. Now we can see this very much in the modern scientific propaganda for the evolution theory. This smoke screen is very much used. Just look into any kind of textbook or explanation of evolution theory, you start immediately using this jargon, or they use a lot of technical terms, and it seems like a very huge system of knowledge, which is like very elaborate and very, very technically detailed and so on. And in that way, if one is just not educated into this whole system, which takes many years to actually understand all this complex terminology and so on, then one will just, at face value, one will think, okay, well, some or other, they're into something here. They are into something, and another sense of saying that you're into something, it means you're doing something, you know what you're doing, or you're into. There's something to what you are doing. So in that way, they put up this smoke screen, yes, and blah blah blah. We have all these things, and that way the innocent masses, they will think, yes, some or other they're learned, and when they talk about this subject of evolution and so on, they learn in the field, and some other they kind of then are brahmanas in the Vedic context. They are our guides, our wise men, who are explaining to us the things. So in this way, the modern scientists in today's society have taken the role as the brahmanas. But as we learn from the story of Bali, there are two kinds of brahmanas. One kind of brahmana is the devotee brahmana, another kind of brahmana is the demon brahmana, or impersonalist, Mayavadi brahmana. So actually what we have is the case here in the material society is the demon brahmana, or the Vaishnava brahmana is actually those people are all the time quoted in newspapers and magazines and so on. And usually they just call the scientists. So the term brahmana has been replaced now with the term scientist. So they say the scientists say that evolution took place by this and this, and the scientists are now explaining that this and this is so, and another scientist is explaining, or another word used in place of brahmanas is experts. The experts are working on the case. The experts are doing this. The experts are saying this. The experts now are saying that this and this was happening so many thousands of years ago, probably, and that's why we are like what we are now. And whenever we look into all these things, they use a whole lot of jargon and vocabulary, which of course has to be there because it's a whole thing they have built up since the last 200-300 years. After they gave up the scriptures, they have built up another kind of scripture, which is the modern scientific scriptures. But it's still scriptures. This is now our modern religion, which is headed by the scientists and the experts, which has now instead of the title of Dvija, as I said there, Dvija means a Brahman. Now they're instead called a PhD. And you cannot get, in the same way as you cannot get Dvija very easily in society, you have to work for it to get the Brahman status initiation. In the same way, you have to work to get the PhD initiation. But it doesn't mean that when you get that kind of status that you are actually fully correct in what you're saying and is actually representing the absolute truth. Indeed, it is not like this. As you saw Shukracharya, he's called Shukra Acharya. Means Shukra means semen. So he's an Acharya who is or seminal Acharya. It means his father was also an Acharya and his father was also an Acharya. So he was looking at being a guru like that by birthright. Because he was born in a family of Brahmanas and Gurus, and he's also qualified to be. But no, actually the real qualification for being a Brahman is to be a Vaishnava. It's also stated by Prahlad Maharaj in Bhagavatam that actually a real Brahman is actually a Vaishnava. If one is not a Vaishnava, one is actually not a real Brahman. And many other places in the scriptures this has been clarified. And Srila Prabhupada's Guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was preaching this strongly to the masses. He was defeating the caste Brahmanas, the Shukracharyas in India. Very strongly he was defeating them. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was the most powerful defeater of this caste Brahmana system, which is represented by Shukracharya, the original caste Acharya, so to speak. So it's a demonic thing, as we can learn, since Shukracharya was the leader of the demons. Just by this very fact we can understand that those who claim to be Brahmins because of caste, they are representing the demoniac way of thinking. But Krishna allows them. Krishna allows us to be demons because we're in the material world. That is the place where we are allowed to be demons. But if we want to quit being demons and want to be a devotee, we should start following the process given by Prabhupada in the commentary here. He says, Acharyam mam vijaniyan. One should view the Acharya as not different from myself, Krishna says. Navamanyata karshit. One should not think he is, one should not disrespect him at any time. And the Acharya is first stated to be a devotee of Krishna. Krishna is ending the description of the Acharya by saying that the Acharya is fully devoted to me, Krishna says. So then it's quite simple to see that in the story of Shukracharya cursing Balamaraj for not following his instruction to keep the goods for oneself and not giving the goods to Krishna. Balamaraj instead gave everything to Vamalev, and then he was cursed. Shukracharya said Vamalev is an incarnation of Vishnu or Krishna, so don't surrender to him. So in other words, Shukracharya, he was a false Acharya. Because Krishna has just said now, as I said, Krishna is saying that an Acharya is fully devoted to Krishna. So obviously, Shukracharya was not fully devoted to Krishna. He said, you should not be devoted to Krishna, you should not surrender to Krishna, and if you do, I become angry and curse you. So in other words, Shukracharya was a false Acharya. So there is no fault in giving up a false Acharya, a false Guru. There is no fault in that. You should actually give up to a false Acharya. Actually, in the material world, we have always had a choice, because we cannot be without Guru. This is a very important point I also have to understand. I always follow authority. Why? Because from the minute I'm born into this world, I don't know anything. I don't know how to do anything. I have my natural instincts to eat and so on, but actually how to act and how to do things in life, all this I have to learn from authority. First authority is the mother and father, and then it becomes maybe some other grown-up people, and then the teachers, and so on, and immediately I follow authority all the way through. So the point is to find the right authority then. We have to find the right authority which we can follow. We have to follow authority. If I don't want to listen to what Krishna says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, I just give that up. And what am I going to do? I had to do something, so I had to go out and get a job or something, or so somehow or other I had to, do something. So usually when one is ending up having some kind of work, one is actually forced by society to be active, to get a job. And what do I do at the job? Immediately at the job I have an authority. I have to learn how to do whatever job I'm doing. So I have a teacher in the work. The boss is saying do like this and this. I will show you how to do, and I just follow him. And so immediately I follow authority. And in a very subtle way, I have given up actually the authority for the purpose of life, and I give up Krishna. Then I actually immediately following the authority of my mind, Manura. Because the demonic mind will say, do what you want. Just don't have any specific purpose of life. Just hang around and enjoy here and there and be peaceful and happy, and that's it. This is called Mayavadi. Just float around and enjoy whatever is there, and don't worry too much about anything. Just be a nice person and do your work nicely. Don't hurt anybody, and not be peaceful like this. And you don't offend anybody. You just be nice and do your work nice, and nobody will offend you, and then you will be okay. So this is called Mayavadi philosophy, because Mayavadis are very much like this. They're in goodness, and they just behave nicely and don't offend anybody. Everybody's smiling at them, they are smiling at everybody. And thus they just live their life without surrendering to Krishna. So that's why I said that this is all going on the charity of the mind. Nuratena asate daughter by, in that way we're always in the body, in the external energy. But we should rather take to the internal energy. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavan akinchana. But yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana, by taking to pure devotional service to Krishna, Sairabhai Ganais Tatra Samasata Sura, then immediately we'll get all the good qualities in our life from the demigods. And then Arjamam is one of the qualities of the demigods called simplicity, and then with that simplicity we can simply say no to Maya, simply give it up and go back to Krishna. So, any comments or questions? Yes, Mother?
I was just thinking about this modern university structure, that how, and also at the hospitals, and how everybody offer respect to the professors and the doctors, and so one may be like trying to be a devotee and go into this, whether at your job or at your university or like that. I mean, it's just such a contaminating atmosphere, because it's such a alluring atmosphere when everybody else is offering respect, like you're saying, they are like our gurus, like our acharyas, like that, and then to survive and not be afflicted in such atmospheres, it demands a great such a quality of faith and decency and integrity and simplicity to Krishna to survive in such atmosphere, especially in these educational systems, that you're so dependent on knowledge.
It is a great danger. I don't think devotees can survive in this kind of pursuit to become a learned scholar if they do not simultaneously keep the strong association with the devotees. One has to have a devotee association, otherwise one will be definitely swayed by Maya in that kind of environment. Because it's such a good smokescreen, and they're putting up knowledge in disguise. Actually, Maya in disguise as knowledge. It's put up all this knowledge, but actually with this kind of knowledge is just covering the truth. And why should the truth be complicated? Why should Krishna consciousness is not supposed to be complicated? Krishna consciousness is supposed to be easy. So, but they are saying the truth is very complicated, and is like a whole elaborate description of how the world came about, and they have all explanation for everything, ending that it was just coming by gradual evolution, everything was just gradually developing, tracing it back to actually nothing, to just a big bang. But the devotees are smarter, that's the thing. So the devotees who go to universities, who are actually having the right frame of mind, that actually they want to do this as a service to Krishna, they are probably allowed that devotees go and get familiar with the different materialistic sciences for the sake of preaching Krishna consciousness. So that has been done by a number of materially educated devotees, which has used it to preach Krishna consciousness, like Ravindra Suri Prabhu. He was told by Prabhupada, he asked Prabhupada, should I just give up my PhD thesis and just, my aspirations to become, a learned scholar and just surrender in the temple to Prabhupada? Said, no, you keep on, take your education, finish your education. So he did that, and the Ravindra Suri Prabhu is preaching very nicely in ISKCON. And we have, of course, the good example of so many scientists in the Bhaktivedanta Institute. These are defeating the evolution theory and other faulty theories of the materialists. So it can be used because the intelligence of the devotees are above the material intelligence, so they can see through the smoke screens like this. But otherwise, if you just go there, it's some kind of a material desire to become, to get some kind of status, then it's of course very dangerous. Okay, so thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.